that I've gotten up and like gone to work, I have wanted to like listen to morning tea on my way to work because I'm just like, what's going on? You know, what's happening? What is CLC and everybody else in Prague got to say about what's going on? You know, I want the tea. I need morning tea.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Halloween weekend to those who celebrate. Yeah, okay, Alex, okay, you know what? I was wrong. Okay, I thought this would be simple. I thought they would be like, oh, the day is off tomorrow. We know what we want. We're just gonna say what we want and move the fuck on. I was wrong, okay? Good morning, Kevin. But we have like a lot, but not a lot to discuss. Like the agenda's long, but realistically, it's just because I had to transcribe every single thing that happened in chronological order because yesterday was so ridiculous and for what that I felt the need. Good morning, Julia. Alrighty, I am joined by a lovely guest from BBH20. She was even mentioned yesterday within the house. Remember that fun blindside we did in BBH20? Maybe we should do it again to Bridging Elliott.
I really did the math. I was like, it made me realize there are only I've played like 7 games. There are 2 games I haven't been blindsided in, and one of them I won.
Oh, that's right. Okay, didn't you win XTC?
Yeah, then
With
I'm like
against Nikki?
with Nikki and Rizzo.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, damn, people really don't want to be telling me, but they're getting rid of me.
Like, I love a good blindside in Survivor. It makes sense. There's hidden advantages. You've no clue what anyone has. I get it. You know what the twist is here. You know what it is. Like, you know these people have nothing. So it just was like, okay, all right, I guess. To just like lie to everyone and make half the house feel like they're good and like tell the nominee that they're stellar and they're staying and they're amazing and promising them the world, and then nope, they're gone. So
the fact that it was also so back and forth, I'm just like, it's so confusing. Like, I get it, but I mean, we'll get to it.
Again, it's just another vote that, and I say this at least 3 times a season, like this vote just didn't mean that much to the people that were making it such a kerfuffle. Like Louise and Caro, did it really matter that much? I don't really think so. Like, I think they had good relationships with both nominees. While I do think that their relationship game-wise with Liv was better. But like when
But then you get rid of her in the next round or 2. So like, guess what?
Yeah,
you
like,
don't always get that option unless you win and you want to get blood on your hands.
yeah, it
And
just
Caro and Luis are not known for winning comps.
no. Yeah, it just was a lot of strange activity for a vote that just was so not just was so not meaningful. It just really wasn't. It's like you have a good relationship with both. Whoever stays, you're gonna be good with. So just pick what you want and let's move on. It's not like you need direly one of them to leave. Like both of them were decent for your game. Just keep one and let's move on. But we'll get to it. So we've got Liv and Rose. So we have Christian and Preston as the co-HOHs. They initially nominated Louise and Liv for eviction. Preston won the veto and decided after a long window of trying to decide the best way to save both Louise and Liv. His decision was to veto Louise, which was his own nomination, and then put Rizzo in their place. So coming into the day, we have Rizzo versus Liv, and it's such an interesting dynamic because you've got Rizzo, who objectively shouldn't be there on the block. Like he's really only there because Christian's a fool, for lack of a better terms. Christian primed the house to get rid of Rizzo because Christian was so unwilling to just tell people he was going to nominate Liv, and he got a certain half of the house willing to get rid of Rizzo to give someone that they like a golden key on the other side underneath Preston's HOH. So he already primed the house. So when it came time for Preston to think about his options, and everyone's begging him not to give Christian the power because Christian just lied to the entire house the day prior, Preston's like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just put up Rizzo. I already have half this house promising me that they'll get rid of him because that's the deal that I made the day prior, thinking that Rizzo would be on the block next to Louise. So he's like, fuck it, I'll just put up Rizzo. Even though he had a good relationship with Rizzo. Had he known that Liv would have been the initial nom under Christian, he probably doesn't nominate Rizzo. But because of how Christian played his HOH in terms of being super secretive, not being very forthcoming, not wanting to protect allies or keep allies safe underneath a Preston co-HOH, he ends up getting Rizzo put on the block. Rizzo didn't really do anything wrong. Preston liked Rizzo. So, like, Rizzo wasn't an option for Preston. If I look at his trust, Rizzo was pretty high. Like, there's no business Rizzo should be up here. But it's Christian's fault.
It really was baffling. And the only thing it makes me think of is like, he just got so fucking unlucky with I've heard Rizzo talk about every single game he's played, and he's always like, oh, I don't make it, like, I think this is only his second time being pre-jury, and this one, even the first one, I guess he got like advantaged out essentially, and this one I'm like, this one, it wasn't even your fault again. And every time he says it, he has the Rizzo arrogance of like, I'm a great player, like people are just bitter and scared of me, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. And even here I'm like, you got unlucky, like this isn't even fair to you, like this is nothing about him as a player, because truly these people are just insane. They're just wild, and like, not, there was no reason for Rizzo to go up. And like, I know we've spent like the last 3 days shitting on Christian, but like, he's gonna have some questions to answer postseason from everyone of we need to understand the logic, because it's like, what the fuck?
I really just don't think there was.
Oh my god.
Period. End of statement. Like, he thought he could get away with saying a fake name all day and didn't think of the consequences of, oh, the house is kind of expecting Rizzo to be on the block. So people are already expecting that. Plus, your co-HOH doesn't trust you, and you've done things to make him not trust you further by lying to him all day and then putting up the one person he asked you not to put up. So when Rizzo's going around the next day being like, oh, I feel super safe with Christian, and everyone's like, oh, so you cut a deal so he could use you as a fake name. Ah, got it. So when Preston needs a renom, it's so easy to be like, well, you don't like Christian, and well, Rizzo's close with Christian, clearly. It's just, he just mishandled all of it. And I mean, and Preston's guilty as well for being impatient and nominating Louise immediately without going to confirm with Christian. Like, you didn't know what Christian was doing. You were told by everyone in the house what Christian was doing. The last time you talked to Christian, he was doing Trey. Now you're hearing Rizzo. I would get back on call with him before I send in my nomination, but that's just me. And instead, you jumped the gun. And then when Liv calls you, being like, he's putting me up, you sit there on your hands and don't do anything. Had you thought about it, you probably would have put up someone else, maybe like a Lamont or someone, and we wouldn't be in the situation anyway. Because Preston wins the veto, most likely still. He takes Liv off the block. Christian names a renom. It's not Rizzo. And we end up with likely Caro or Erica on the block underneath Christian up against whoever he initially noms, which could have been Lamont or Megs or someone like that. But instead, he jumped the gun.
Yeah. I didn't realize he had not been on call at all with Christian.
They had one immediately where they both didn't really say much. And then they said, we're going to regroup at 10 o'clock when noms were 10:30 to 11. And then it kept getting pushed back. And then Preston just said, fuck it, I'll send my noms. And then Christian did the same thing, still thinking that they would hop on call together. But once I have both nominations, I'm going to post them.
Which makes sense. Which, of course,
it's 10:45. You want to go to bed. So I had them, bye. And they just never called. And then they got both pissy with each other. Christian being like, how dare you send in your nomination video, not talk to me?
There is very little I hate more than a hypocrite.
It's hard. It's hard to stand. Like, it's team TV because like I can just see the episode of Real Big Brother where he's in his HOH room being like, I cannot believe Preston did this, and then they go 4 hours earlier, 20 minutes late, or 20 minutes before, and show the exact clip of him doing the same fucking thing. Like, I can see it. It's comedy. It's hysterical. He's given me TV gold. Like when Liv stays today, and after he worked tirelessly to get rid of her, lied to her, had that super uncomfortable personal call where he basically was like, I just don't like you. I mean, he didn't say that, but like it very much came off this way of like, I just don't like you. And then when she stays, all he says is, congrats on staying. Like, it just really took me out. Like, he's serving comedy gold. I love it. Is he playing well? No.
I feel bad because he is kind of a little more he's a little more just kind of like on his own. Like everyone else, like I know a lot more people. He's someone who like I've seen around but don't actually know. So like I do want to be rooting for him because he's a little more of an unknown and like he is a little more isolated. So like you want to root for those people, but it's like, Christian, you're not being rooted for because of any of that. It is truly like we don't know what's going on with some of your decisions. But it was like this the first round too, where we were like, what the
I love Christian so much. I've known Christian I mean, since I hosted him in 13 and I followed him as he's hosted the president and all his other things, and I've supported him in. I love Christian. But babes, I need you to like I come on here and I don't enjoy shitting on people's games. That's not fun for me. I remember a time in BBH20.
Yeah, that's only fun for Kadri. And
giggles. The last time I can like fully remember a T where I was like really impressed with everyone was BBH15. I think it's the final 8. It's Hammond's HOH. And basically, Hammond nominates, I think, Blake and Anna. Tommy wins the veto. And Tommy's like, I know what the right move is. It's to save Anna. So Hammond puts up Anthony because he wouldn't put up Ashton. So then his alliance of Ashton, Tommy, and Anna can control the vote and send out Anthony and then rope in Blake with them and take the majority. I was like, oh my God, brilliant game move. And then Hammond sees through it and then nominates Ashton and sends her home. Despite his great connection, like it was great chess move after great chess move after great chess move. I was like, see, that's what I love coming on T and talking about being like, everyone is playing fucking optimally and everyone's playing so well. I love coming on T and saying that. I hate coming on here and being like, this person's playing like garbage. It's not fun for me because I love all these people. It's not fun. And I love Christian. It just sucks that like I have to, like, I want to root for him, but like he's played both his HOHs so poorly. Like round 1, your eviction's literally canceled. You're literally doing this for nothing, and you burned 3 people instead of just asking the question, are we safe? And then this one, I get you don't trust Preston, but like this was an opportunity to like build something there, and instead you passed up every opportunity and lost an ally in Rizzo.
I feel like there's a difference in trust when it depends on situations where it's like, this was a situation where like, unless I hated the person and like did not trust them, like in BBH16, if I was in that situation with Kadri, I still would have trusted him enough to trust him that like if we said we're taking certain people off the board, we're taking certain people off the board. Like, and we all know I hated Kadri in BBH16, and I still would have been like, you know what? There's no reason for, like, he is saying he doesn't want these people up, and I don't want these people up. I trust, like, there, it's a situational trust. Like in every other context, no trust, but like, okay, like, because if he goes back on it, he looks like shit, and no one trusts him. And I know if Preston had said, yes, I'll take these people off the block, assuming Christian says Rizzo and Michael, and then Preston goes back on it, Christian now has ammo.
Yeah.
He said, I wouldn't put up these 2 people because he said so. And then he went on, like, that's fucked up. Like, that's bad move for Preston, even if he does want to put up Michael or Rizzo. Like, exactly. And Preston's a smart enough player to know that is not where, like, there are so many other options.
Yeah.
Like, I get the distrust, but not in this situation where it's worse for Preston not to follow through.
You're outgoing. Like, you have no say next week as HOH. You need to leave this round having an outcome that's beneficial to you in some shape, way, or form. Sure, you're probably not going to get 100% of what you want because you're sharing the HOH and you have to find something that's mutually beneficial, but you sure as hell should not be leaving this HOH with something that's not good for your game. And because he was so unwilling to trust Preston or even pretend to trust Preston. We talked about it yesterday when Rizzo's like, why would you not give him a name? Like, he's refusing to give you the renom because you're telling him nothing. And he is fearful of what you would do because you're not telling him anything. And Christian's like, yeah, because I'd nominate one of his friends. And Rizzo's like, lie to him. Like, you already lied to him the day prior. Lie again. Like, do something to save me, dude. Like, he was so unwilling to work with Preston. And I get it. You don't trust him. Had Christian won alone, he would have nominated Preston. I understand. But, like, you were so unwilling to work with him. And now you're outgoing and you lost an ally. Like, you did
And
all
you
of
didn't have many allies to start.
to begin
You
with. Yeah. And
Exactly.
I
No
love
one-
Michael. I
Yeah.
love Michael. If you
He's
had
not-
to lose an ally between Michael and Rizzo, buy Michael. I love Michael, but like, I've worked with Rizzo. He is so smart. He is
Great
like,
ally.
he's shown right here, like, every move he was making was logical and made sense. It was smart. It like,
He's so good.
Rizzo
I
also had like great reads, so like he could
That's
help. You know,
phenomenal. He was
Yeah,
giving good advice. When Michael came to him and is like, I told Preston about my advantage, Rizzo's like, buddy, play the fucking key. Like, you have to now. And he could have been a shitty ally and been like, whatever, like, cool, like, cut my losses right now. And he's like, no, like, Rizzo knows how to fight for his people. Like, ultimately, yeah, he's gonna fight for himself, but like, he's not dumb. He is so smart. He is such a good ally.
Yeah, it
Christian
was
like went
frustrating.
into this wanting his one thing, and I think this is literally the worst possible outcome that could have happened for him. I genuinely don't know if I can come up with a worse one.
I
well,
don't
he
think
has half the
Yeah,
house
actually,
coming
I will
for
say
him.
one thing, because so many other people were blindsided by Rizzo going home, that is a slight benefit to him.
It is.
Slight,
It is.
Mhm.
but like, it's still like, so
It's
it could
personal.
have been like 0.5% worse.
It truly depends on who wins HOH. Truly on if Christian makes it through this next round, because half the house that lives, half the house, let's go with that, goes for Christian, but the other half, oh, they're going big Will Hunt. They're going for big
Yeah, they're
deal. They're
going-
going
they're
for
going-
like all of them.
But
So,
again,
like-
Christian, the benefit that Christian receives here has nothing to do with him. Has
No.
all to do with the fact that the house decided to blindside the other half of the house, just for shits and gigs. So if someone from the pro Rizzo side wins, they're going after the other side for whatever reason. Even though realistically it boils down to, well, I guess technically they're all culpable because they all knew. But like, they don't owe you shit. Like, they don't owe you to tell you. Like, as shitty as that is,
especially
when-
since half of them weren't working with each other.
yeah, like, you're not aligned, and ultimately the one person who's promising to flip the game in your favor is begging you not to tell them. You're not obligated to tell them, and like, I don't blame them for not telling them. Do I think that Louise should have been honest with Rizzo? Yes, but it is what it is, and we'll see how it plays out for them. But we'll get there.
Well,
Yeah, you
Louise
can
had to be-
blindside people who are staying in the game. Don't blindside people going home.
Louise is blindsiding herself like half the day, so it's like
Louise
truly.
doesn't even know what she's doing.
Self-awareness.
But she knew she didn't know what she was doing. So
I
I
will
don't
give
know.
10 points to the house of Louise Thurkel, because I love someone who, if they're being messy and chaotic, as long as they're self-aware that they're being messy and chaotic, then at least it's like slightly redeemable. It's like, great. So you at least are cognizant that you're doing this. Louise is fully aware she is playing a fully cracked out game. She came to her DR being like, I have never played this cracked out ever. And I understand that. And I'm like, great,
Right.
as long as you understand that.
That definitely helped give a little bit more like, okay, if you know, you know.
At
Like,
least she knows. So
I still
I'll give
don't
it to
love
her.
that she specifically seemed to look at my blindside and be like, let's do that again. And I'm like,
Yeah,
how
she
about
did.
never again?
Yeah, she's in her villain era. She is in her villain era, and she just does not care who is in the way. She And if you've not watched her confessional from last night, please watch it. I think it's 2 minutes. It's super short, and I think gives a really great insight into how she's playing, which is she came in. I don't know what she was coming in thinking, but like now she's like, you know what? I just want to have fun. Like, fuck it. I want to have fun. And you know what? I'm having fun. And I will not take that away from her. As long as she's having fun, that's all that fucking matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what I fucking think of her game or what any of us think about her game. Like, she's having fun, great. I'm happy for her. Like, is she gonna win? Probably not. But like, as long as she's having fun, I don't fucking care. So, but we'll get to her craziness because she is the star of the day. Oh,
yeah.
she's the star of the day. But where we left off about the eviction vote is there was a little bit of talk last night. For sure, saving Liv was Trey, Erica, Nikki, and Sarah. Those 4 votes are locked. Liv just needs one more. Just needs one more because a 5-5 tie leaves Preston as the tiebreaker, as the POV winner. She stays in that scenario. So they're basically searching for one. The people who are for sure saving Rizzo are Jabbar, Megs, Megan, and Lamont. For sure. So we're at 4-4, and we leave with Caro and Louise as in the middle. What are they going to do? And when we left off last night, Caro and Louise had their call where Caro kind of like edged Louise on, being like, what do you really want to do? Sure, you made that deal with Preston. And Louise is like, well, I want Liv to go. And Caro goes, great, me too. So Louise went around talking to Jabbar and some other purpose people and like, we're going to do it. And then Caro, after an hour of thinking, goes, I actually don't want that. I actually want Liv to stay. So we thought we were coming in today 5-5 still, but Caro needing to kind of figure out what the fuck she's going to do. And we kick off the day with Caro and Nikki getting on call, hopping down to C on the agenda, and then we'll come back up. Caro and Nikki getting on call being like, hey, we see eye to eye on this. Nikki knows that Louise is thinking about flipping on the deal. Nikki's like, I'm going to honor the deal. I'll tell you that much. But I hear Louise might not honor it, but we need Louise to vote with us. They see value in voting together for the sole reason of if the vote, like they basically want to blur the lines here in this vote. They don't want this to be solely a pro-Rizzo side or like a, or I guess like a Christian side or a Jabbar side, whatever you want to call it. The side that's trying to save Rizzo and the side that ultimately saves Liv. They don't want that to just be that. They want to kind of maneuver their way where they're needed on both sides so they can kind of avoid the impending war. But if there's solely only 2 sides, they worry that whatever side they end up on, they're at the bottom of it. They want to feel needed. So they're really trying to like make this work, and they don't want to vote without Louise here. But Louise is waffling. Last night, Louise is like, fuck Liv, get rid of her, bye. And then this morning, Louise is in her prod chat being like, I don't know, like Rizzo's loyalty is up for grabs, but like, is it worth burning my relationship with Preston? I just made a group with him. He just protected me. I promised, I swore on my heart that I wouldn't go back on this. And like,
didn't she waffle kind of a lot in BBH16? I feel like I remember looking back on my blind side, and she was like initially a big part of it, and then like the next morning they're like, Luis is now unsure what she wants to do. She is like half part of this, making this happen, half like, I don't think we should do it.
Like, that could be right. I don't really remember. Like, I hate to be that person. Like, Louise wasn't a huge character until the jury phase of the game.
Yeah.
Like, Louise just didn't really have anyone until Caro and Elise needed Louise to come into the fold to try and get rid of Kotri and Jeff. Yeah, she wasn't a huge character. I mean, she was a huge character, but not like for the storyline of it all until the jury hit. I don't remember, but like she's got a huge heart that like that sounds right for her. And I mean, we see it today. Like we see it on full display where she's having this like head versus heart battle. Like her heart is saying she needs to stick with what she promised. She likes Liv. She thinks Liv is good for her game short term. Sure, in like 2 or 3 rounds, she'd like to eat the fuck out of Liv, but she thinks Liv's good for her now. Liv having the key is not bad at all. Like, if Liv was to have the legacy power, she feels good with Liv having it. And she doesn't want to break her word to Preston, but her head is like, I don't really care for anyone else on that side. Like, she has no relationship with Sarah. Her relationship with Erica is good, but it's not like great. She's got way better connections on the pro Rizzo side. She really values Jabbar. She really values Lamont. She really values Megs. So she's like, what the fuck am I going to do where I prefer Liv as the nominee to stay, but I want to please the people who want her to go. And it's also the same issue that Kara's in. So they hop on call to be like, what are we going to do here? Are we like, how are we going to handle this? And they agree, we'll keep Liv and yeet her in like 1 to 3 rounds from now, which is just like, just get rid of her now at this point.
That's what I had the problem with. I'm like, if you are so ready to get rid of her, don't piss off the half of the house that you want to work with, supposedly. Like, if you want to do it, just do it. Like, save the time, save the energy, and build better relationships. I was like,
I said this in the VL, and I will say it here for everyone to see. Liv and Nikki are about to sit at the end because no one took the shots they should have taken early. Like, these two players are phenomenal strategically. They know how to fly under the radar. I will also say, though, I don't know why Liv nominated Nikki and wanted her to go. I don't know why Nikki was fully pro. Like, I trust that Nikki was like, this is the correct decision. And this is why Nikki will always be my favorite ally I've ever had, because she was so much more logical than me. And she could be like, Bridget, you're just pissy right now. Just stop. And she was always right, but I'm like over here being like,
so good.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Nikki wanted to be honest. That was the first thing she said. This season, I'm gonna be honest, and that's what I want to start. And she said, I'm not going back on my deal. But that's part A, not the strongest point she does in any of these arguments. She like passionately is like, these people won't have us, and that's what I need. I need people right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a huge issue when you have a big group that comes together that is so passionately fighting for someone, fighting for something that you don't necessarily agree with. Is they're already together. They're bonding through this experience. They're all on calls being like, we're fighting for Rizzo to the death. We have this. We're a big unit. And Niki's already not part of that. The fact that she's already waffling and already kind of leaning towards saving Liv already puts her on the outs of that group. And that's what she tried to tell Caro and Louise. She's like, they know that you're waffling. You're not part of their group already. They're already bonding because they know the common cause that they want to be a part of. So that's point number 2. She's like, even if we vote with them, we're at the bottom. They know what we wanted, and it wasn't what they wanted. And then the third thing, which I think is the best read she has, which, again, it's iffy. She thinks that if Rizzo's to get the key, because you have this group of people who so badly wants him to stay, they're going to work tooth and nail to yeet Niki's key so Rizzo can have the power. And she doesn't want Rizzo to have the power. She likes Rizzo, but wants her to have the power. And she's like, oh, if Rizzo has the key, they're absolutely going to target me and make me flush mine at 14 so he can have the legacy power at 13. And she's like, I don't want that. And she's like, I don't
think that's the worst read in the world either.
No. And she's like, if Liv has the key, they way more likely would rather not have Liv have the power. They'd rather let me keep my power so Liv doesn't have it, because there's a whole group of people wanting to get rid of her. The issue I have with that is, my love, they're just going to eat both your keys. But I do agree with the Rizzo of it all. I think absolutely, if Rizzo was to stay and that group was in power, they're eating your key and letting Rizzo have it.
Absolutely.
If Liv keeps the key, they're eating both your keys. They're going to eat both your keys. But it depends, because, I mean, we'll get to it, but, like, let's say a pro Rizzo person wins this next OH and threatens both of them. Yep. Yeah, literally. Like,
I think it depends. I know we've kind of said they might try and eat the keys. I think there's some people who are like, I'll bluff that I'm going to put them up. Like, hopefully they do it. But I think they take bigger shots. Like, I think we talked. Okay, so I'm sorry, the ADHD is showing right now. But we were talking about how Preston and Christian are not fucking with the power structure. They think they are, but they are absolutely not. They kind of did fuck with the power structure. Caro, I think, is public enemy number 1 for a good chunk of the house. And maybe I'm wrong. You guys are both prod.
No,
But,
it
like-
depends how people decide who was the flip vote. And right now there are people who think it's Caro.
Oh, Jabbar is fully like, if Caro did this, chat. Like,
She easily could be hated by the entire house come the end of tonight if they all just assume it's her.
mhm.
Yeah.
And
And if she's already the one, I don't know how much people are really trying to be like, I want a day off. If Caro is already trying to get on calls with every single person, I know when people try and do that for me, when I'm like, I need some time. And unless they're like my number one ally, oh God.
Caro and Jabbar are the only people I've messaged this morning. if that
Like,
tells you anything.
I mean, it's still early enough that like some people
Yeah,
might
it could pick
join,
up.
but like
Yeah, it could pick
for the
up.
most part, if we're saying, hey, it's a day off, we want this day, especially on a Saturday, like if someone, unless they're like a super close ally and we just chit chat every day because we like to chit chat every day, if they're trying to talk game to me, I'm gonna be like, I don't want to work with you anymore if you don't know how to chill. This is probably the pot calling the kettle black, but still.
But that's the thing, and I get it, and that was really hard. We were discussing on the StreamYard before we went live with the vote, and we were like, it's unfortunate because we want these people to take a fucking day off, but of course, half the house decides they want to blindside the other half of the house. Now people are going to feel obligated to try to figure out what the fuck just happened, and they want to figure out like how are they going to move forward after this blindside. Additionally, this pro live side is like that almost alliance is dead. Like almost everyone wants to distance themselves from it. So like there's so much of this game that is taking place and taking form right after this eviction, after we told them, please go touch grass. And of course, the game in them is like, no, this big event just happened. I can't go touch grass. I need to go figure something out for myself, not wait till Sunday. So we're seeing this kind of battle between that, and Caro doesn't know what happened. So she's trying to figure out what the fuck happened. With
Caro's
the vote.
going to an apple orchard. She said she will be taking the day off in her messages to Michael. So I'll see it when I believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, until I see the lack of calls and the lack of messages, I'll believe it. So we'll see. We'll see how she handles it. But back to the Nikki. I think Nikki's got a great read on that. So I'm happy Nikki is sticking up again. But that's the thing is like both nominees kind of didn't really matter for her. Like Liv nominated her and Rizzo very much was not going to save her against Victoria and only saved her because the house was saving her.
Flipping.
So like, and Nikki knew that. So like,
Oh yeah, I
Nikki's
forgot
like,
about that.
Nikki's
That's
like,
fair.
I don't care about like either of you truly, but like I think a great read to be like, if Liv has the key, they definitely will want me to keep it. And that's the thing. It's like, how do you handle an HOH now with there's two keys in the game that are transferable, but you know how to get around it. You know it has to be played before the nomination window. So if the nomination window opens and you haven't heard an announcement, you know that they've kept their keys and they're taking the gamble this round. So you know how to play around it so you can threaten it. And the threat could turn into something real because you know, like it's not going to be a surprise if you try to nominate them and then their key comes out. You know when they played their key or not. So that's the thing is if someone who isn't with Liv or Nikki wins HOH and they try and flush both of their keys, then there's no keys left in the game, meaning the last legacy key would go to whoever survives this eviction, meaning that someone who's on the pro Rizzo side wins HOH, flushes both keys, and the surviving nominee is going to come from that side. So either way, someone from the pro live side would have a key if they like it or not. And that's the question. Do they want it to be the surviving nominee, Nikki, or Liv? And my gut says they're gonna want to be Nikki, most likely.
Because I don't see a world where they're risky and put one of their side up to try to get the key because they simply don't have the numbers.
I disagree. I see some players, namely like Lamont, being like, fuck it, let's try. I could see, like, for the most part, mostly I agree. To an extent, there are some people who are a little bit chaotic and would absolutely try. I think they would be a little smarter about it than like, and make sure they actually have the votes, or like they'd have like if it was Lamont being like, I'm gonna put up someone who I trusted, we're gonna get them the votes. I think there'd be someone like Jabbar in the background being like, great idea, let's make sure we actually have the votes before we do it though. Versus like Preston, who's just like, no, we have the votes, and then throws her up, and it's like, babes.
They could have the votes because if they flush the keys both, then Liv and Nikki don't vote. They have no votes. Sure, the HOH on this side. I don't know about that.
Lee thinks neither side. I don't know. I think people are
Erica and Preston have dropped Megan in their rankings because they know that she's well connected. I mean, I'm not saying that they would evict her, but I'm saying that people.
It would need to be like a Christian versus Megan situation. That's the thing. They have to sacrifice. Like the play to do on the pro Rizzo side is, if they get there, is throw up Christian and Megan, which is 2 people from their side, but everyone's gonna evict Christian.
Yeah,
the other side is gonna be like, we will hand Megan the key. We will hand whoever you want the key, as long as you put up Christian.
But if they flush both keys, Liv and Nikki don't have a vote. Sure, the HOH and whoever's on the block won't have a vote either. But again, we're forgetting that Michael never had a vote this round either.
And Christian
Michael
didn't have a vote.
and he's better for it.
Michael had a hard decision. I think Michael honestly probably would have voted to save Rizzo, but it would have been a tough vote for Michael. I'll tell you that much. So good thing Michael did not have a vote. So that's the thing, is like, while this vote did tie 5-5, Christian didn't have a vote and Michael didn't have a vote. And then if you take Liv and Nikki out of the situation, so like, it's possible they could try and throw up one of their own to try and keep the key on their side. It's very possible.
Risky.
I think, and the thing is, but like, I don't know if Jabbar has changed his mind. He seemed pretty willing, and he is not. I think he'd be safe as long as he was against someone relatively decent. But like, I'd say Caro was the one person who probably would have been like, okay, yeah, let's target him. But now Caro does not have the power that she used to have after yesterday, I'd say. I wouldn't even say this round, but yesterday specifically.
Yeah, so that'll be very intriguing to see kind of how that plays out. Obviously, if someone who's pro-Liv wins, they likely just don't. Like, Nikki likely keeps the key, and they move forward with Nikki, possibly.
I don't think there's the thing is, we say the sides, but like, some of the people on the pro Liv side, I could see throwing, like, Eric and Sarah. I think there's a world where they throw up Preston and Liv.
Oh, it's very possible. I mean, this almost alliance is dead. Like,
yeah,
Sarah, it almost happened.
Sarah's done with Preston. Sarah was telling people, she's like, I'm done. I don't want to be stuck with this on this side anymore. And she's kind of done with Liv, but more so she's really just done with Preston. But because Preston and Liv are seen as an entity, she feels the need to kind of distance herself from Liv as well. But I think she actually
not another person not Liv's close ally going home again and pre-jury.
I fear, though, for Sarah, the damage is done. Like, the whole other, there's 3 or 4 people that have clocked Sarah. She can try to.
Sarah has nowhere to go. Sarah doesn't have really the option to ditch but I don't think she realizes that. I think Sarah's trying to show the other side of the house, hey, I'm willing to move away, but the other side of the house, Josh is all pissy in the prod chat about it, and he'll be mad that I'm saying this, but I don't really care. Like, he wants people to give Sarah a chance, and we're at day 13. We're on day 14, which is technically truly day 15 because we have day 0. Like, we're 15 days in. At this point, there are people who just do not care for Sarah. Not the fucking frog hat. There are people who don't care for
It's the green shirt with the frog hat.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. You are in spirit.
As you should be.
We were talking Big Brother. I didn't mean to distract.
They're just people who don't care for Sarah, and at this point, you're 15 days in. If you haven't bonded with Sarah, you're just not gonna at this point. So, Josh,
like, something big is gonna have to happen. It's really interesting that the Liv side won out, because they are the ones that are way less cohesive.
Oh yeah, they're way more fractured than
they're not like they don't. I feel like they are in and of themselves are not as much a side. And I said this earlier, where like the flip votes were leaning to save Liv. But I thought the Liv people were more likely to flip to Rizzo, if that makes sense. Like, they were still pretty solidly, I'm sticking with Liv. But if, like, votes had to, like, the Rizzo people were like, we don't care if we're losing. We're like, obviously they would have liked to win. But, like, even if they were told, hey, Liv is staying no matter what. The only person who would have flipped their vote is Caro. The other 4 people would have been like, okay, fuck you, Liv. Like,
and that's what Nikki tried to tell them.
yeah.
Like after Caro and Louise, after they agree on their agenda of like, Caro's like, I need to keep Liv in the game because Christian is the one person coming after me, but he also wants to target Liv. So keeping Liv for me at least is good in the short term in case Christian is able to win again. They both want to protect their relationships with people like Erica and Preston, but basically they then create the baddies, which is Caro, Louise, and Nikki, and they hop on call, and Nikki's like, this pro Rizzo group, they're tight. They're together, and they know we're not part of it right now. They're needing us, but even if we go with them, we're at the bottom of that group, and Nikki tried really hard to tell them that. Caro and Louise didn't really listen to it. They were like, they know.
People need to put more respect on Nikki's name. People
Honestly.
like
Nikki's like, I'm sorry if I'm coming off as pushy or aggressive, but listen to me.
She has also never in her life come off as pushy or aggressive. Yeah. People just ignore her, and she has to like scream and shout and fight to get people to listen to her, and it's ridiculous. And people should be like begging for her to work with them. I'm sorry. When someone, and like, I know I was like rooting for her to go home because last round, because I'm like, I wanted Victoria to stay. And also I'm like, objectively, Nikki is going to like kill all of you. Like, she will win this game. And I'm sorry, someone has sat at the final 3 times. I think her 3 most recent games.
Oh, wow.
Maybe she's worth taking out.
It was frustrating seeing Nikki just like sit there and give good read after good read after good read as to why Louise and Caro should just save Liv, be done with this conversation, and end the vote. Let's take the rest of the day off. And they just
met with nothing.
Oh, her and Liv need
good
each
idea,
other.
But and then did whatever the hell they wanted. So
at one point, I didn't see Nikki leave that like group call they had. I was like, wait, where'd Nikki go? I was like, oh, okay, interesting. She's like, I'm done.
But they basically end this baddies call that they're like, you know what? We're tired of being bombarded saying that we need to take Liv out. This other group is too strong. But like, we need to blur the lines here. Our goal is to go talk to Trey, make sure what he's gonna do, and then Caro, you vote the opposite of it. Let's make it 5-5, and let's blur these lines and have these people super confused as to like where things actually shook out. Because if Caro and Louise and Trey and Caro are voting separately of one another, then we have people on both sides. So we're good. We got people on both sides. We'll have all the information. We can come back together, and we know everything that's happening. So that's kind of where we left off there with the baddies, which was they leave still pro Liv.
Yeah. We'll check in a few hours.
Yeah, we'll tune back into that. So let's tune into kind of what the other side is doing. Jabbar and Megan call super early saying, you know what, Caro can't be trusted, and we need to tell Rizzo that. So they make a group chat with Rizzo called The Saviors. This is short-lived, obviously. It's the trio, Jabbar, Megan, and Rizzo. But basically just telling Rizzo, Caro and Trey, they're wishy-washy. Don't rely on their votes. We need to find 2 more votes, though. They know the 4th they have. They need to find 2 more. And that's basically the game plan. It's kind of Jabbar's like campaign manager chat at this point. Is just like update the group as to like where the campaign is going.
We secured funds here. We need to get more funds.
Exactly. Other than that, though, it's pretty just anti-Preston and then just campaign updates is basically this chat. They are not very like seeing Megan so anti-Preston was refreshing. Just considering the narrative of people are just playing with their friends, which obviously we know isn't true. Like Erica sure is on Preston's side, but she's not like dying with Preston.
No.
Sure.
She's killing people. She's not dying.
Yeah. Like, sure, there are people who knew each other coming in that are playing together. Absolutely. Sure. But the ride or die relationships aren't all pre-connections.
I was going to say the only real relationship I see that's kind of doing that is BBH16. And there's I'd say them the most, but like it's still
But
not
even
even
then-
happening a ton because they almost got rid of Liv. But like also BBH16 are the ones who are making a big deal about BBH16
also
still.
that. So it's all a clusterfuck of a mess. But that gets formed. A little shocked Megs wasn't involved in this, but again, people
That was probably the
really
best for her
quiet
game.
yesterday.
it Megs was really quiet, but like people were like, I wonder where Megs' vote is at, even though like Megs was very honest from the very beginning. She was voting out Liv, and people were like, have we confirmed with Megs what her vote is? I don't know why you need to like why in the world you think for a second she's not evicting Liv here, but all right. But Megs just really doesn't get involved in any of the power structures that kind of are in real focus here today, which I guess is good and bad. Good in the sense of she just gets to sit back and chill and not take a huge ton of heat because Louise, Caro very much tell Liv and Preston kind of like what happened today in terms of like who was campaigning hard, and Megs is not one of them. So Megs kind of stays out of the heat of that. Lamont and Jabbar and Megan are getting all the heat for being like the big campaigners. But I mean, Megs is just kind of, I think, just shocked at the audacity of Preston to leave up Liv there. I think she's just shocked at the fact that it's so obvious what Preston's doing, and the fact that the house is potentially going to give him what he wants is what she basically resides to for the day. She's like, if this house is dumb enough to give him what he wants, then fine, go for it, but I'm not going to. But she's not going to sit around and campaign all day. She's just not going to do that. She knows where she stands, and she's just going to do that. And she occasionally asks for some updates, and that's about it. But
I think she's the winner. She's the winner of this round. I know she did not get what she wanted, but she is still the winner of this round in my opinion.
Michael Bergeron.
Oh, and Michael Bergeron. Obviously, I keep forgetting he was in the round because
that's a great
you never
problem.
hear him so quiet. You never hear so little about him because everyone will ever watch is, how's Michael doing?
Do we need to be switching your spot out in the club for Ashley Keenan?
No, Michael's a great winner because he sits back and stays out of it. He has no clue where the votes are going, and it's a good thing he didn't have a vote, because I think he would have had to have made some hard
The only thing that
decisions.
makes me sad about him not having a vote is Rizzo would still be here if he had a vote.
Yes, very
that
much
is
so.
the one thing that makes me a little. But also, like for Michael's game, well, Rizzo being here for Michael's game would have been great. But also, like I think Rizzo would have had Rizzo would still be there, but everyone would be like, what the fuck, Michael?
Michael needed a common person outwardly on his side. So
I think it also would have, this is going to sound really mean of me, I think it would have gotten, like, I know we were already talking about how it got a little, it was bordering too toxic yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think it would have gotten really toxic if Michael had a vote, because people would have been playing on his emotions really hard. And, like, I'm not saying Michael would have been toxic at all. I do not think the man has the possibility of doing that in these games. But, like, I think people would have been, like, manipulating his emotions, like, because they can, and everyone would have been trying to do it, and the poor man would have had, like, for his mental health, I am happy he had no vote.
Oh, because, and I don't think this was Lamont's intention yesterday, but, like, Louise was really torn up. Not necessarily about the vote, but more so about her character. Like, is she going to do what's best for her game in her eyes, which is to evict Liv, or is she going to and do that and go back on her word? Like, is she going to be a liar and do what's best for her game, or is she going to be upfront and honest and go with the thing that she swore on her heart that she would do? So she's having emotional turmoil over just like herself in this moment, and Lamont very much like when he hopped on call with her and saw that she was distraught, was like, you're worth it no matter what you do. Like, you're good. You're an amazing human. Clearly, like, it's not emotional manipulation, but it's like tiptoeing that line of like, don't worry about what other people think of you. You're still an amazing person, because Lamont wants her to flip her vote. So
I think it's more likely that Louise feels bad about it, saves Liv, and then for the next 3 rounds tries to sink Liv in every conversation she gets on.
Oh, and she will.
100%.
Not that she would ever do that with anybody, but
yeah, like absolutely. Like if I saw Lamont doing it to Louise in her time of turmoil, it absolutely would have been done to Michael in his time of turmoil. So like, good thing he did not have a vote at all in this.
People were telling Rizzo like, oh, use that, connections to try to be like, oh, you're going to really do that to someone who did X, Y, or Z to you. Like, like people were trying to encourage a little bit of gaslighting, if you will. So I'm happy we didn't have to see Michael get gaslit.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, Michael's
I
being
think
left out of most things anyway.
There's pros and cons to being like not involved in things every single time. I think
Foster, shut up,
ultimately,
Foster.
I think ultimately, it was a pro that he was kind of.
No,
I think
Foster's like, in my season, we all told each other everything. So if you skip around, you just lose. Though those are people play differently. You can skip around and be fine.
He-
Okay?
he's getting left out of the big power structures with or without a vote anyway.
Honestly, good.
No, it's good for him because I think the less information he knows, the better. Because we saw
Because
what
he
happened.
can't spill it.
He can't spill it.
Whoa. Whoa.
So
But in a good way.
Okay.
I think it's working out for him. He'll get picked up here pretty soon. No one's looking at Michael. No one's mad at Michael.
I
Everyone
would
likes
love
Michael.
for him to get picked up in everything that doesn't involve Kara.
Well, there's three
Well,
people that's involving.
Yeah, we'll see.
Carol's so
Let's get-
interweaved.
Let's get to Trey and Lamont. Lamont's an interesting character today. Lamont's angry. Let's just say it that way. Lamont is so tired. Lamont put in a lot of great work. He put in a lot of great work with Jabbar and Trey and Nikki and certain people really early on in the game and put his neck out for them. He saved Nikki twice. The first one was all him. He worked really hard on Sarah to make sure that Sarah would save Nikki at that first eviction. And he's irritated that both Nikki and Trey are not voting the way that he wants. Obviously, Trey and Nikki come from different mindsets of like, that I can be a good ally and still vote differently from you. Like those two things can exist together. Lamont's, I think, agrees with that mindset, but is like, I'm asking you, like, this is the one time I am asking you to please choose me and what I'm needing because this is important to me. And he's of the mindset that if they keep Liv, that this Liv side is just going to run the game. Sure, they have all the comp wins right now. Liv has 2 comp wins. Preston has 2 comp wins. Sarah has 2 comp wins. Erica has a comp win. Like, I understand the concern that if we keep Liv here, that side is just going to keep winning, keep dominating, and it's over for the rest of us. And he's really angry that Trey is not choosing him. They had that black coffee call at the end of day 12, and Trey's like, I don't know. I want to make sure the votes are there for sure to save Rizzo before I have to get involved. Basically saying, unless there's 6 votes, I'm not voting that way. I will not be your 6th vote to save Rizzo. And it's really pissing Lamont off.
Yeah.
So why did Trey like I didn't fully understand. I know Trey doesn't seem to have much of a relationship with Rizzo but was it sounded like you said it was because Kara wanted to vote for Liv. He wanted to vote for, but I don't know if that was the actual truth or
Trey
I
actually
just read it
prefers
wrong.
Liv. I mean, he has a good relationship with both, but like he has better connections. I think his better connections are Jabbar, Lamont, Caro. Like they're like middle connections for him, but Liv talks to him more.
Him and Liv, like, they're West Coasters. So they're like, let's West Coast, like, vape and vibe. Like, you know.
Yeah. But again, I said this in the prod show, I was like, keeping Rizzo or Liv is still good for Trey's game. It comes down to like, is Liv how much utility is Liv worth keeping and how much utility you're going to lose by pissing off your top allies in Jabbar and Trey, Megan, Caro. Like you have to like gauge that. Like sure, Liv is the better ally for you, but how much are you willing to lose with the other allies you have to save her? And obviously he decided that Liv was worth it. And he was honest with them. He told them from the jump, I will vote Rizzo to stay, but you have to have 6 votes. I'm not going to throw a vote to save Rizzo if that's going to keep him. I'm going to keep Liv. I don't care if I'm in the minority or not. I'm going to keep Liv. But he definitely, I mean, he handled it wrong to begin with because he was like, I'll have to talk to Nikki and Louise and figure out where they're voting before I decide. When in reality, he should have just from the very jump just said, I'm keeping Liv. And there's nothing you can tell me that's wrong. Like, I'm still with y'all. And the thing is Liv's not, I mean, from what Liv told us, but again, that was a couple days ago, It was, I guess, when she was first nominated. So it could have changed by now, but she's been with her mom, so she hasn't like truly given us her full rundown of thoughts. When she was nominated, she's like, I'm going after Megs and Christian. Fuck those bitches. She's after them. And from Trey's mindset, he's like, great, my top people are Black Coffee and Bathroom D, and all those members are not being targeted by Liv. So me keeping Liv, who's a better ally, she's not even after y'all. So why are y'all mad? Why are y'all pressed? And that's where he's coming from. He's like, I'm still being a good ally to you because I'm keeping someone in the game who's not after us. And I'm keeping an ally who I can have that has good rapport with me and I can get information from the other side. And additionally, his concern is that who's going after Megs if we get rid of Liv? Who? And great question. I'm looking around. Not a single soul in this game is going to target Megs for a good minute. If Meg's like everyone's number one, no. But she's in the top half for pretty much everybody.
You don't need to be number one.
Yeah, like she's going to be chilling with Liv gone. So Trey's like, no, keep her in because we need someone to go after Liv and someone to go after Megs. And he's like, who's going to go after Christian? I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's plenty of people who will go after Christian. But that's his concern. His concern is Megs and Christian, who can win challenges. If no one's going after them, they're going to keep continuing. They're going to keep winning challenges. And next thing you know, they're in the end game. And we had the chance to keep someone like Liv, who can also win challenges and target them. So that's Trey's whole point. And Lamont's just not having it because Lamont is just like, why won't you choose me? I should be your top ally, and you're not choosing what I want. And Trey is just sending GIF after GIF after GIF that is just really pissing Lamont off.
It's like really hard because like it's one of those things where you'd be pissed if you did it, but also like I get where sometimes it's like I can't get into this actual fight with you, but also like I kind of hope Lamont does the exact same thing to Trey when Trey wants it, because like I hate when people like don't take my frustration seriously. It is like it pisses me off, and like I'll do it back to someone when I'm like, you like, why, if you didn't care for me, I'm not going to care for you. I think like I see where Trey came from, and I don't think he's wrong in his logic, but sometimes you have to be able to understand your allies and be like, this is what this ally needs.
Oh, they called and made up last night.
Or did they?
Peak hours of the. So we'll see what comes of it, but like
they called. Lamont was like, I forgive you, but be better, which gives me I forgive, but I don't forget is what that's giving me. It's like, if you fucking try this shit again, you're dead to me, but you're forgiven for now, but don't fuck with me is what that gave off. But they've forgiven for now, but we'll see. But yet Lamont's not happy with Trey. He's not happy with Nikki. He's like, Nikki, I saved your ass fucking twice, and you're really going to just like honor this deal with Preston? Like, this random bullshit deal you make with Preston is more important than my allyship with you? Interesting. Okay. I mean, Lamont goes to the main chat and sends his phrase, the writing's on the wall,
which
hops on the main call. Yeah, like he really tries to like.
The main call was nothing, for the record, for anyone.
No, it never mounted.
It was literally like, what are you guys doing for? Like Christian came on, like, oh, you're shopping for some new Lululemon. Oh, fun. Oh, what are you wearing for Halloween? Oh, cool. Okay, gotta go buy. Like it was everything for nothing.
Yeah, literally. So, I mean, Lamont's not a happy camper today. I mean, he tries to put in the work, which is a shock to Liv, because Liv and Lamont had a call where Lamont's like, I got you, don't worry. Lamont was like, if I keep you, would you get rid of Preston? Would you help me get rid of Preston? Liv's like, absolutely. I will help you get rid of him. And Liv was in her project being like, and I will do it. I will evict Preston's ass if Lamont saves me today. If he is the 5th vote I need, I will send Preston's sorry ass out the door. She meant it.
And she would. And she fucking would. She would. She like, that is the player who she is. Like, she knows what the best moves is, and she keeps her word for the most part, unless it's like, oh no, I just said whatever I needed to survive. Like, I don't think this is one she would have done it on, but like, Liv keeps her word. It was a deal to take.
But obviously Liv doesn't mean it anymore because Lamont didn't save her, and Liv kind of gets clued in at the end of the day that Lamont fought really hard for you to go, and she's not happy about it. She's pretty upset about it because she felt like she had a good connection there with Lamont, and she feels like Lamont really tried to doom her. So That's where we're at in terms of still this vote. So coming into like, we're probably about like noonish, 1 o'clock Easternish, where we're being told the plan is to 5-5 this hoe.
Yep.
Trey, Louise, Nikki, Sarah, and Erica are going to save Liv. Caro's going to vote to save Rizzo so she can appease the pro-Rizzo people and the people she's got better connections to. Louise is going to claim that she can't go back on the deal. And that's kind of the plan, to kind of blur the lines in hopes that the pro-Rizzo people will still need people like Caro, Louise, and Nikki to target the almost alliance that
The
has been
thing I hated about that was having the ego to really think people wouldn't see through that.
And that's the thing. I don't
Like,
know.
I'm sorry, it's hard to look at like a 5-5. Everyone knows Preston's gonna save Liv. Every single person in the house.
Mhm.
You're telling me, oh yeah, we just split like I don't believe, like, it felt kind of icky when I heard it. I'm like,
And it's hard because, I mean, how do you, as much as you want to be icked out by it, do you, let's say they stick with the plan, someone like Jabbar or Lamont or Megan wins power, do you target the 3 people in the middle, or do you go after the foursome alliance that is supposedly tight, that you think is tight? Like, what do you do?
Mhm.
I don't know. So
One
it's the
from
thing.
each.
I'm like, I agree that they would see through it, but like, do they have enough? Do they have an option when all the comp wins? 2 from Sarah, 2 from Liv, 2 from Preston, and a win from Erica. They have 7 wins in that alliance, and we're only in round 4. Like, on top of Preston's dual win, like, do they have an option?
damn,
Do they
Preston's
actually
becoming a
have
little bit
to?
of a comp beast.
Yeah,
Well,
like that's the thing is,
we'll see.
like, as much as I agree they'd see through it, like, I'm not sure they have another option. I think they kind of have to. They kind of have to
Yeah.
go after the almost alliance to try and take out those comp beasts and take them out one by one, and then they can target the people in the middle. But like, I kind of agree that if you're looking on paper, you kind of have to go after the foursome. Obviously, we know that they're fracturing and they're not actually as tight as everyone thinks that they are. But on paper, I'm like, I don't know, maybe they're right to try and do this. Obviously, it doesn't end up happening this way, in the way that they designed it. But that was very interesting where we left off. But let's get to Rick. I think she's an interesting character here today. Early on, she's bonding with Sarah, being like, yeah, we should save Liv. We should check in with Megs, even though we know she's going to save Rizzo, but let's just make sure the triple threat femmes are still good. But again, this narrative that Rick and Preston are like this, and they're working together, and they've played all these minis together, is really annoying the fuck out of her. She's really annoyed. She's like, I'm not with Preston. Yes, I'm playing in an alliance with Preston, but Preston's not my person. He's not the person I'm going to ride or die with. She's leaked things that has Preston in it. She's like, that's not my person. And she's just really annoyed to the point where she's contemplating, fuck it. Do I just flip because I'm tired of people thinking I'll just do whatever Preston wants? Should I just flip? And Megan sees this as an opportunity to be like, well, who are your where do your connections actually stand? Are your best connections on the other side, or are they with the pro Rizzo people? And I mean, her trust rankings indicates that it's with the pro Liv people, but she tells Megan that she thinks, well, fuck, I think my top allies are actually on your side, which based on the trust rankings, that's not true. But you know, everyone's trust rankings are very malleable, they're very dynamic. So who is to know the actual truth? But Rick is someone who is not necessarily, and she never promised her vote to save Liv. She said she wanted to save Liv, but she still wanted to hear Rizzo out. She was like 80-20, 90-10. So like there was still a possibility there. But throughout the day, Erica just gets more locked and loaded to save Liv, which again brings everyone back to the Louise, Caro, and Nikki are like the swing votes, because people still think that they can swing Nikki because they think the only reason that she's voting the way she is because of the deal. And they're trying really hard to be like, you don't need to honor this deal. You don't need to. And what I love about Nikki is she's like, I understand you think that I don't need to honor this deal. I have a golden key, babe. So I'll be safe next round regardless. So threaten whatever you want. I'm going to be safe. So like, and that was just like, everyone was really trying to like, not threaten her, but be like, you can go back on the deal. Like, blah, blah,
The
blah.
amount
She's
of people who tried to swing her I remember this. She was a swing vote in BB7 and 17 as well,
Mhm.
and people thought they could do whatever they want with her, and she was like, no.
Cheesy?
Like she did what she wanted, and she still had good relationships with everyone because she told people, like even people who she barely worked with were still like, okay, like that's kind of how it goes. Like
Yeah,
she's gonna do her own thing. She's gonna do what's best for her game. She's a smart player. She's gonna have phenomenal reads. You
just
can't
so
bully
smart.
her into anything. Bullying's a strong word, but
Yeah,
you can't.
no one tried to
Strong
bully her.
arm.
They both were definitely. People were like, "Girl, like if Rizzo stays, like you're going to be on the minority. I hope you're okay with that." And she goes, "Great, I'll use my key. Awesome, sounds like a fun plan." She just like,
See you in 2 rounds.
yeah, like literally, she unbothered. And I just love someone who's like,
Mhm.
"Nope, this is what I want, and you're not going to convince me otherwise." And she's in a position to be like, "I don't care. I have a key. Try me. Do it.
Mhm.
Flip the vote. Do it. I don't care." And I just love a player like that. And again, I think almost everyone played that way today. And it was very fun to see people being like, cool, I might be in the minority, but guess what? This is what I want. And I'm going to stick with
Mhm.
it instead of this whole,
House
I guess
mentality.
the house wants this. So I guess I'll flip. Like everyone said, nope, I'm sticking to whatever the hell I want. And I don't care how, I mean, obviously they cared how it turned out, but they're like, even if it doesn't go my way, I'm happy I voted the way that I did. I'm so happy to see that. But the
Yeah.
one person who initially was annoying the fuck out of me was Caro. Caro just refuses to just pick something and move on. Like, I understand for Caro and Louise, who later starts to do it as well, that this vote is complex. There are pros and cons to both sides. I understand the need to keep Liv short term, but then the concern you might not get the chance to yeet her short term, but also the concern of pissing off the people you're closer to, which are on the pro risk side. I get the pros and cons. I get it. It is a complex vote, but it's not complex enough that you need to be going around for hours contemplating it. Just make a decision. Let's move on. Like it deserves some attention, but not to the point of like the whole woe is me crap of like, oh my God, this vote's so hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to call every person twice and then wishy-wash all day. Just pick something.
Mhm.
And the thing is, like, this is gonna sound mean, but like the only kind of nice thing that came out of it, it was like, you guys tanked your own game. Caro especially. Like,
Mhm.
because you just couldn't make a decision. And it's kind of like when someone keeps making bad decisions, and that's what makes, like, Caro was running the game, and yeah, she was starting to get a little, like, Jabbar was starting to clock her a little bit, but a
Mhm.
lot, like, I don't think her game would have tanked so quickly if she didn't waffle all of yesterday.
It's to a point where like that her allies she thought were really strong are like, do I really have Caro? Is Caro really doing anything for me? Like a lot of side eyeing will be happening to Caro. Like,
And then ultimately, she gets blindsided in all of this as well.
Yeah.
Luis does not tell her, no one's going to believe Caro didn't know. No
exactly.
one's going to believe Caro didn't.
He-
They might believe Caro was the 5th vote
Yeah.
to like keep Rizzo. No one is going to believe that she didn't
No.
know.
She showed both sides that she was too wishy-washy. So neither side felt good with her. They felt like she was just trying to appease everyone. And it was very evident that Caro was hoping that a majority would form without her having to make a decision. So she could then just go with the majority. It was so evident. But the issue is that didn't happen until like a few hours later. But at that point, the damage has been done. Both sides know that you're not with them and you're just trying to look out for yourself. And it was so evident. And what was really frustrating me is that she was creating this house confusion because literally within minutes of each other, Jabbar messages his prod chat being like, well, it's over. Liv is staying. Rizzo's going. And then literally Caro's in her chat being like, the tides have turned. Liv's leaving. Like, how are you both messaging this within minutes of each other? And you're both thinking the complete opposite things are happening. But also, Caro's like, the tides are turning when no one has messaged her.
you were like searching through messages. You're like, the fuck did this happen at?
I was like, who told you this? Because no one has messaged you. So how are you thinking the tides are turning? You're the tide. You decide this. So like, what tides are turning? No one's messaged you. Like, are there
Does
ghosts in your
Caro-
house?
Does genuine okay, this is does Carol leave with anyone? Like I like the
Trey.
two people who come to mind
That's
that
about it.
like Louise, oh, she's not gonna trust Louise after like she's
No.
gotta be able to clock that Louise didn't tell her that she was
No.
flipping. Liv's not gonna trust her anymore. And I think Liv was up there for her.
Liv wants Caro to come back to her. Liv is, but again, Liv's in a position where she doesn't have anybody, so she's still trying to salvage everything she has. Liv's trying to forgive. Liv's trying to be like, I get this vote was hard for Caro. I'm hoping she still wants to work with me. Like, I'll try not to be mad about it, but again, Liv is gonna forgive but not forget this. But
yeah, I was gonna say Liv will forgive for the short term.
But Liv doesn't have many options. So I think Liv's being
Yeah.
smart by being like, all right, Caro, come on back. I need someone. Like, I need other people. So I think if Liv had way more options, she would drop Caro. But
Absolutely.
Liv is
I could
really in
see
that
Liv
position.
and Caro trying to make the BBH16 thing actual, like the pull back. All of a sudden, they're trying to pull in Michael again, and it's just like, I hate watching how they treat Michael. It's rough.
He's just a number to them, and that's the thing is he lost someone. He lost one of the only people in this game that didn't see Michael as just a number. As much as like Liv and Caro and Louise love him, they just
They don't put any actual.
They don't talk to him like he is an ally. They're just a number right now, and maybe that's part of Michael's fault as well for not.
I will say
himself more of an ally.
I don't know Luis and Caro as much. Liv is very good at making you feel like just a number, and I think Michael is a good number for that because he's not going to be able to see through it. He's going to be like, "Oh, these people trust me," and it's like, "No, babes, they don't. Not at all."
But I think
I'm
a little.
so sorry.
He to the point of like didn't tell them about the golden key.
I will say that was phenomenal on him.
He knew not to tell people until like he had, which we question was it good or bad, but like he didn't tell Liv and Caro, and they were upset that he did it right away. So like to a point, he might realize that like they don't need to get everything from him. So
yeah. So now where we're at is we're still thinking that we're going to save Liv in this 5-5. Louise hops on call with Erica, where Louise is like, yeah, Erica, they want to take out Liv to kind of weaken the Almost Alliance. It's a shot at you. And this is still when Louise is like, team save Liv. So again, we're still building up those building blocks here. Trey finally gets off his flight and tells Liv, hey, I'm good on saving you. I just wanted to confirm that like my vote's going to mean something for you. And Liv's like, no, absolutely. I have 4 votes locked. You would be the 5th, and you'd be the one to save me. Trey then hops on call with Caro, being like, I'm saving Liv. And Caro's still in this like world of like, I'm worried about pissing off Bathroom D, like which is Jabbar and Megan. She's like, I'm so worried. Like those are my top people, supposedly. And I don't want to piss them off. And Trey's like, it doesn't matter. Like Liv isn't going after them. So like they've got no reason to be upset. So and also they were like, Trey's like, I'm the 5th vote to save Liv, so it doesn't matter what you do. Your vote's inconsequential. And that's kind of how the damage control call goes, where Caro's like, my vote doesn't matter, so like don't hate me. And like, please promise me that no matter what I do, it's not gonna burn a bridge, yada 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 crap.
This is also the call where Trey's like, Liv said she'll transfer you the key if you want to, if you keep her. Like
he asks Liv, if you won the key, would you be willing to give it to Caro? And Liv's like, I will use it for anyone in our No Scrubs alliance, which is Trey, Liv, and Caro. She's like, this power is for all of us. Like, and that really appealed to Caro, and I thought was gonna kind of lock her into it, but no, it doesn't, because while Caro's on call trying to damage control with Bathroom D, this was the call that I alluded to earlier where Louise is on call with Lamont, and Lamont can very much tell that Louise is conflicted, where she wants Liv to go, but she feels bad going back on her word. And that's when Lamont pulls out all the, the emotional niceties of like, you're a great person. It doesn't matter what you do. Like, no one's going to think you're an awful human being if you go back on your word. I love you. You're amazing. And something on that call, Louise is like, you're right. Fuck it. I want to do what's best for me. And what's best for me is Liv going. And that's when she messages Caro, hey, I'm evicting Liv. And Caro goes, great, me too. Like, it's so clear that Caro just wants to get rid of Liv, but needed to like absolve herself of any kind of guilt or wrongdoing of this. And I think it finally took until that moment for Caro to realize, like, no, Caro, you're going to be the dagger that sends Liv home. You have to be. If you're trying to play this game of like, I hope there's a majority that wants to send her home so I can just say Liv, the votes aren't there. That's not going to happen, Caro. The best that they can do is get 5 votes. You have to be the 6th, if you like it or not. And I think finally Caro got it through her system that she can't be playing this way. She can't be playing scared anymore, hoping that she can keep playing hands off. She has to play dirty. And that was finally when Louise was like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. I don't owe Preston anything. Preston nominated me. Fuck it. Like, what's the worst he's gonna do? Nominate me again? But he can't even be HOH next round. So you know what? Screw it. So she goes on her campaign. She tells Rizzo that she's gonna vote for him to stay. She tells Jabbar, which is funny because literally Caro was just on the call with Jabbar in Bathroom D being like, yeah, Louise is saving Liv. And then literally 10 minutes later, she's on call with Jabbar being like, nope, I'm saving Rizzo. So like, again, the confusion continues of like this telephone crap of like who's saving who. And that's when
Sorry, you finished.
I was just saying, and that's when Jabbar hops on call with Louise being like, you're being scapegoated for this, just heads up. Like everyone is saying you're saving Liv, which is encouraging more people to do it, and they're all blaming you for this. And that's when Louise is like, oh, then absolutely fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm getting rid of Liv. I'm not gonna do what the house is gonna blame me for. So that was kind of the first turn that we see in this. So I guess like
hill number 1 of.
Well, I guess technically it's turn number.
I think it's one of the later ones.
It's
like the one. It's the first official one. It is the first like we have made a decision.
Because Thursday night, Louise was like, I'm gonna evict Liv, and then Friday morning she wakes up being like, I can't break my deal. So that's technically turn number 1, and then turn number 2.
Here's my thing about this deal. Preston was like, I'm so mad that she's gonna go against the deal. You don't get to be mad that a deal that you made to save her, the only reason that deal was possible was because you fucking put her up. That is like, I'm sorry. That is like fully, I'm not going to say the words that I'm thinking because they're going to sound a lot harder and meaner, but like, that is such like, it is just like, I'm sorry, if someone tried to pull that shit on me in real life, they would be cut out of my life forever. Like, it is a game, so it's a different situation. It's not as big a deal, but also like, don't have the audacity to be like, how dare she go back on my deal? You wouldn't have had the deal if you didn't fuck her over in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Like you
fuck off.
Like you didn't know what to do because you promised the whole house safety until Michael used his key. You didn't feel that great with Louise, so you felt the need to start offering anyone you didn't feel great with a spot on the block in hopes to keep them. And Louise was the first person who said yes to the deal. But you were considering Louise from the jump when she won HOH. So like, let's not forget the fact that you did not feel great with Louise, and you wanted to use this as an opportunity to like feel like you gave her something, and like she should be indebted to you. Like he definitely is having this kind of like savior complex a little bit of like, I saved you.
Because you fucked her over. Oh my God.
Yeah, like you put her there. Like, come on now, my love. But like, and I get it from Preston's point of view, because Preston is someone who very much, when he makes a promise, he will keep it. But that's, I mean, when you go back to round 1, when he promised everyone safety, that's why then he throws the HOH, because he knows, I can't keep these promises, so I gotta lose.
He knew when to jump.
But yeah, he's someone who, when he makes a promise, he's gonna keep it.
Yeah.
So like, I get why he's upset, because he's like, I wouldn't have broken this promise. I wouldn't have made a promise.
You wouldn't have put yourself in a position to have to keep the promise.
Exactly. He wouldn't have.
That doesn't mean shit to me.
No. So, but I get why he's upset. But this is now the turn. Caro tells Rizzo she's going to keep him. She then hops back on call with Bathroom D saying she's going to save Rizzo. And it's a bit unfortunate because like it feels a little bit of this like side v side mentality is kind of coming in and affecting Caro and Louise's decision-making process. It's very much guilt tripping on this side v side mentality of like, do you love me? Like, you said you're with me. This is what I want. Are you going to do what I want? I'm happy Trey is like, no, I'm not going to do what you want. I'm going to do what I want. And like,
I got
We're
plans.
still
Bye.
allies. Like, we are still allies. Like, I'm not.
People,
this vote is not
everyone
against-
really needed to pull a Megs and be like, I'm voting this way. Bye.
See you in 12.
I think it
But-
should have been like everyone except for, and then like Caro and Luis figure out what they needed to figure out.
Everyone would have been better had they logged off yesterday. I'll say that.
Yeah,
A little bit.
This
Because
is
those are the
when
real winners, the people who weren't fucking
who
around.
just stayed out of it, who didn't
Yeah.
invest the time, didn't get emotionally invested in this vote, didn't have each have their moments of like, we're winning this vote, we have it. Because this is when Louise is like, remember when we blindsided Bridget in 16? We could do it again and just like not tell Liv.
Chuckles.
Which seemingly was currently the plan. I mean, all the pro Rizzo people are super excited because it's gotten around to all of them and it's going to be 6-4. They called Nikki again because Kara and Louise are like, fuck, we have to go back and tell Nikki that the plan has changed. Nikki is not happy. Nikki is like, no, I really think Rizzo should go. Like, if you want me to have the power of the legacy power, you can't save Rizzo because they're going to flush my power and give it to Rizzo. If you're fine with Rizzo having the power, then fine, save Rizzo, but don't sit on this call and tell me that you want me to have it because if you save Rizzo, they're not going to give it to me. And it's very clear on this call that Louise and Caro are like, but my relationship to Megs, Jabbar, and Lamont mattered far too much to vote against them in this vote. And like, and Nikki, I think, is seeing like, oh, okay, so your relationship to them is more important than your relationship to me. Got it. Cool.
Noted.
And the last thing Nikki tells them is like, don't wait. Don't blindside Liv. Just go tell her.
them.
Please. Like, don't do this.
I'm
So
sorry,
Caro-
their reasoning for not telling Liv was, oh, she might
If
change my
She's
mind.
gonna
I heard
change
the
them.
exact same shit, and I'm like, that is the worst reason. Like, if your mind can be changed, maybe your mind should be changed.
Maybe you're making the wrong decision if you're telling yourself, if I tell Liv that I'm evicting her and she wants a call and I hop on call, I know she's going to tell me something that is going to change my mind, means you're not confident in the vote you're making that you're making the right decision. Because if you were confident, you would be a grown-ass adult and hop on that call and look her in the eyes and say, this is what's best for my game. I love you so much, but I'm voting to evict you. But you're not confident in your decision because you damn well know that you're really conflicted and you honestly are maybe thinking you're making the wrong decision.
Instead, okay.
No, I'm just like, if you think that Liv can change your mind, you might be thinking you're making the wrong decision. So like,
Maybe you should change your mind then. Like,
yeah,
it's just like, it's so obviously, like, spoiler alert, Liv gets told, but like, it's just so obviously. I said it. It hurts being blindsided in Big Brother when you are up, like when you're what power do I have to save myself? Literally none, except for campaigning. And if you're worried, oh, you can change our mind, then your mind shouldn't have made the decision you're making.
Right.
Fuck.
Well, and the thing about the call for me that was annoying, they're like, oh, we'll just text instead. And then they take like a half hour to craft this message when they could have just went on and lived, say, we love you, you're great, but it's not good for my game. All right, peace out, bye, and then like avoid the rest of it if they did. But they were like, no, we need to sit on this call and not go talk to anyone. Like I was just do it.
Yeah, like even when Nikki's like, go tell her, they very much were like, all right, let's just text her and then just like not call her and like just avoid her at all costs. But the problem is like this is being done at like 5 o'clock Eastern and the vote's not for another like 4.5, 5 hours. So that's like, damn, that's a fucking long time to like ignore her for. Like, damn, Jesus. So they finally start coming clean. They tell Liv is begging Caro not to do it, and Caro just kind of ghosts for the rest of the day. Liv tells Preston that the votes aren't there anymore. Preston's pissed. So all eyes turn to Louise because Caro is doing her best to stay out of it. She also has plans, so she's doing her best to stay out the Discord and just kind of like stick to the plan. Erica gets told, and Erica goes to Megs, being like, "So what's happening?" And Megs goes, "Yeah, here are the 6 votes." And and Erica's like, "Great, good to know." So she hops on call. So she hops on call with Louise, and Erica's like, "Louise, what the fuck's happening?" And Erica very much just like challenges her, being like, all right, like, I'm not saying what you should do, but like, what do you think is actually best? Fuck the deal, fuck everything. Like, what do you honestly think is the right move for you? Make that decision. Do that. Whatever that is for you. Fuck everyone
Okay.
else.
I have never watched Erica play. I've like played with her in like little minis. I've heard she's a good player. Watching
good.
her in action is truly amazing. I'm like I didn't realize until this game that I had never actually watched her play a game. But she like yeah, she's made some mistakes, but like I always assumed she was just like a very social player and that was kind of like not it, but like that's where her strength lied and it is, but she's so much more strategic also than I realized. And like I truly did not realize how little I knew about who Erica was as a player, and I am just in awe. I love watching it. It's so fun, it's so good, but she also knows how to like talk to people in the correct way of like I am not telling you what to do, but also let's really think about this.
She was the first person that day that talked to her that didn't have an ulterior motive. Like, sure,
Yeah.
did she want Rizzo to leave? Absolutely. But she never once pushed that upon her. She was just like, don't listen to me or what anyone has told you. Just do what you think is best. Just like, don't care about the deal with Preston or that the fact that Jabbar and Lamont and Megan and Megs, the people you really have great relationships with, are also telling you what they're doing. Just do whatever's best for you. Like, and it'll all be good. And
I
after that
will
call,
say, I do think Caro should have kept Liv and Louise should have
yes.
tried to keep Rizzo. I do think they flip-flopped on what they should have been doing.
Yeah, Louise could have gone either way. I didn't care. She has great relationships with both of them. I still think Liv is a better game ally than Rizzo, at least in terms of
I was going to say, I think Louise
like,
has been on this someone from BBH16 has to go. That
so
like I was that's where I was like, I think you
I
need to
didn't
get
care.
rid of Liv now then.
But like Caro, I was shocked in how much she actually wanted. Like the fact that she wasn't team save Liv. I thought it was an absolute travesty for Caro not to see the fact that Liv has given her so much, gives her way more than Rizzo does. I'm like, girl, you should be saving Liv here. Like, I'm shocked that you're even contemplating this for longer than this. Like, had she immediately been like, I'm saving Rizzo, I'm going to show my loyalty to Jabbar and Lamont and Trey, etc., like that I'm doing this and here's what I'm doing, then sure, great, awesome. But the fact that you like flip-flopped all day and showed them that you weren't down for the cause and that you still weren't dead set on keeping Liv, I was like, babes, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. She's on the outside. Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the call with Erica, Louise is like, you know what? Chaos. Let's do it. So she comes to her product. She's like, I'm flipping again.
You wake up from your nap and go, huh?
Oh yeah, I literally go to bed because I go to bed, I take a nap after they're talking about blindsiding Liv. And I said, you know what? I can't deal with the toxicity here. I can't deal with the fact that these people have taken time away from her mom's visit to her to give her this hope that she's staying and telling her, go enjoy the night with your mom. You're good. We Gucci. And then are going to like fuck her over like this, not even tell her. I was like, I need to take a nap. It's fine. Like, I'm just angry for Liv. And then I wake up and I'm like, hey, Prod, how's the toxicity going? And Ashley's like, well, Liv's staying now. And I'm like,
see, once it got announced that like Louise is flipping back, I was like, I have plans tonight. I'm putting my phone away as long as like, because I was very up to date all day. I was not doing any work. My boss at one point stood behind me for like 2 minutes. My headphones were in. I was looking at Discord, and eventually she had to tap me on the shoulder, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is like a new job, new boss, and I'm still like, I'm sorry for paying attention to anything but work.
It's just like,
and then eventually I had to be like, I'll check in every hour for a couple minutes and then leave. Like, I'll find out what happens eventually.
No hour was there not something happening in
literally
this house. Like,
so,
girl.
Louise is team chaos. She calls Liv and says, Liv, babes, we're good. Like, I'll be honest, I was evicting you like 30 minutes ago. I'm saving you now. We're good. She's like, do not tell anyone. Do not tell anyone. She tells Erica, Liv, Nikki, Preston, and Trey. She's like, we're voting together. Do not change your fucking votes. We have it. Do
Wait,
not let
so
the other
Sarah didn't even know Liv was staying?
Not from Louise. but she heard from others. Like Louise is like, I'm not going to tell Sarah because she doesn't have a great relationship with Sarah, but she's like, you do go tell Sarah in the Almost Alliance. Like, so she got told. I mean, Sarah was never going to change her vote anyway. Sarah is very content voting in the minority. She does not care. But they were like, we don't like, don't let Sarah change her vote. Like if she heard it 6-4, tell her to keep it. Like, do not let her change her vote. And they keep it under wraps. They like Liv plays the actress card. Everyone's coming to Liv being like, I'm so sorry, my love. But, like, it's been so great getting to know you. And she's playing back to you like, I'm rooting for you so hard. Good luck in the game.
So
like,
happy to meet you. Like,
yeah, they're keeping up the
facade.
Sarah's keeping it up as well. She's on call with Lamont, being like, "See, I was told you were voting to stay with Lamont. What's good? Why'd you flip your vote? Like, why is Liv going home today? Like, everyone's keeping it up." We have a new alliance called the Furies, which is Liv, Louise, and Preston.
Which Preston just makes and goes, I have a surprise for you.
Yeah,
he's an alliance.
Preston's really giving Caro a run for his money. For money.
Oh, he loves alliances.
Oh, he do. Oh,
and they're all trios. They're like all trios.
He loves a trio. I do know that as well.
He does. He loves to make. Oh, we have something in common. Alliance. So the votes come out. It's 5-5. Preston breaks the tie and evicts Rizzo here.
No shock.
In a blindside, I'm still irritated for Rizzo because, like, why are we blindsiding people? Like, Jesus Christ, it's not that serious. Like, we shouldn't be blindsiding people.
Even like me and Victoria got told. I was 10 minutes before the votes were due. Victoria was like an hour before the votes were due. Like, it does not make it suck any less, but at least we literally got told, hey, we are all evicting you.
We weren't sure Rizzo was at the haunted house still or not, or if he was online, or if he even knew for a while. We were like, hello?
Yeah, like it just sucks to go out that way. Again, in Survivor, it's far different. Here, it's like
so much different in Survivor. It's so much different.
Yeah, it's unnecessary here. You know the twist. You know there's nothing that they can do about it. Like, why are we doing this? And again, if you're willing to do it now, I'm worried if you're willing to do it in the future, especially when you have connections to these people. Like,
we've had 2 blindsides. I'm sorry, I count anything with if you spent more than like 4 hours knowing who the vote was, and then you don't say it until like if you get like unless the vote actually flips in the last 2 hours. Very rare, in my opinion.
We've had
tell people.
Yeah, like we've had Rizzo be blindsided, and then Victoria, for all intents and purposes, pretty blindsided in the last like hour and a half, where she's like just crying because she thought she was fine, and then the last hour and a half, everyone's coming to her being like, "Yeah, the votes aren't there, sweetie." Like,
and it's like a unanimous. Oh my god!
Yeah.
It's just
everyone's gonna like.
Not a good precedent.
Everyone's gonna start getting blindsided, and like I get the noms being a blindside, being like still annoying, but like whatever. I see how that one you now want to do that in until the keys are gone, and that probably will kind of set it up for the rest of the game, and people will just kind of get into that habit. But at the same time, I'm like, I hope everyone starts getting blindsided in this game, because at this point, it's like everyone's blindsided someone.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No. I think Liv is somehow the one person who I'm like slightly. She was HOH when it was Victoria. She is the other nom. It is not her responsibility in either situation to tell the person that they are going, unless she was the one who was pushing for Victoria. Somehow Liv is the only person here who I'm like, I guess she didn't blindside anyone here yet.
She's like, I've only voted once this game. She was talking about it in her DR today or last night. She's like, and that vote really didn't even matter much. Like,
yeah, I mean, technically, she knew her vote didn't matter the first round, and technically her vote was canceled because Preston won the duel. So, like, yeah, she technically has only voted once this game. But yeah, it's just infuriating to just see the way that like human decency leaves the game for a moment. Again, none of these people are awful people. Do not hate on them. They're amazing humans who don't mean to be shitty sometimes, but like it's just like you would not want this to be done to you in a Big Brother game, so why would you do it to others? Like, just don't do that. And like it just, at the time, especially when I thought it was going to be Liv going, who had taken time away from being with her mom, and her mom was not like super happy with her, and like she's also stressed while being with her mom. It's supposed to be a fun moment to be hanging out with your mom, and she's stressed about maybe going home. Like it's just not.
I was gonna say if I pulled that with my mom, I also slightly different because my mom is literally in Africa. I see her like once a year, but my mom would kick my ass.
Yeah, it was just hard. Yeah. So, but in the end, we get a blindside. Lamont is not happy.
No.
He hops on call with Preston, and I don't really understand this call at all, but basically Lamont was like, well, Preston, you said that you would be playing a fluid game and that you're not necessarily with these people. So like, I'd like to see you prove it. I'll have my eyes on you and Sarah and Erica and Liv and seeing if you're actually going to play the game that you're saying you're going to do. And you and your allies are fake as fuck. Like you and your allies are fake as fuck for leaving me out of this alliance, not telling me anything and saying that you want to work with me and then you leave me out of this. You're all fake as fuck. And Preston's like, all right, I'm going to go. Talk soon. And Lamant's like, and we won't.
No, we won't.
That is truly. I like Lamont is
love
growing
Petty.
on me.
I love Petty. I don't understand this call because it's like I don't know what you wanted Preston to do. Like you all knew Preston was tight with Liv, so I don't know why you're shocked at all. I don't know. It just was really strange.
And Preston's like, you have alliances I'm not in. I'm sure of it. What do you want? What do you want from me? Like he was like, how do I answer?
Yeah, when Preston's like, girl, there are other alliances in the game. Lamont's like, no, there's not. And Preston's like, no, there are. Like, you're in other stuff that doesn't involve me. Let's not act for a fucking second. Like, it just was such a strange call that was so unnecessary.
Did they sit in silence for a little bit too? Like, I wasn't on the whole call, so
no. The Lamont and Trey call had some silence on it. When Lamont was like, choose me, be better next time, Trey.
Just like,
no, that call was pretty talkative, but just very much like, I mean, there was a little bit of silence because like Preston was just like, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't know what to say here. So
sometimes you just have to let people yell at you. Yeah. I've said as someone who has never been yelled at, but had to yell at some people before.
Yes, Fiverr. It's been going for an hour and a half because I have a 5-page agenda.
It's literally, I looked at the agenda at one point and I was like, how are we only halfway through?
These people would not stop.
Yesterday was a week. Like one day, a whole week of my life. It felt like
just they would not stop. So that ends it. I think there's still where we leave off. There's still a lot of debate as to who was the flip vote. Some people think it could be Caro. Some people think it could be Louise.
Are people really keeping it quiet that Louise was the flip vote?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one sold it. No one sold
honestly, it. Good for Rizzo's them if they keep it like actually quiet.
Rizzo's message was like, it's probably Louise. It could be Caro, but probably Louise. Like, and people are like,
Some people
I'm sorry. Rizzo would still be in the game if people actually listened to his reads and they'd all be like, oh shit, we need him here because our reads suck.
And they do.
We'll see.
Rizzo's had the best Rizzo and Nikki have had the best reads of this entire fucking game, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're killing it. Yeah, and they
they got rid of the one person who has like good reads. I'm so sorry, but like having watched Rizzo go home, and like Liv is a smart person and stuff like that. This is not against her, but seeing Rizzo go, I'm like, there is not going to be any logic the rest of the game. Like Nikki are going to be our saving grace if we want any logical things happening.
People are just being messy to be messy, and just they're perpetrating the crimes that they're also claiming to be the victims of. It's a hot mess express.
It's truly going to be just poor Nikki is going to be there being like, I'm the only one with except she's too nice. She would never say that, but I will be saying it for her. She's the only one there who I'm like, you have the good reads. You understand what's happening. There's no delusional thoughts there.
No, So, I mean, I thought today would be a power ranking episode, but honestly, with how this all played out, the HOH, like when I was doing my prod rankings, I had a couple people at the top and a couple people at the bottom, and everyone in the middle, I just kind of threw in there willy-nilly because
that's how I did it too.
This game has shaken up to a point where the next HOH is going to heavily dictate the next couple of rounds. Like who rises to power, who's getting targeted, because a lot of people like it's not simple.
You want to give us a hint on what the next HOH is and who might win it?
It's train of thought. I have no
And
fucking
who
Oh,
knows?
fuck.
Defense
Fuck,
who's
train of
lying.
thought.
This is the perfect time for it.
no
This is
idea
actually
who's
the
gonna
perfect
win it.
time for it. It truly is.
No
I
idea.
want to know who's the person who's gonna lie about the one person.
Oh,
gonna
I
lie.
think there's going to be more than a few people lying this time because I think,
Yeah.
I mean, the pro Rizzo side is not happy with the other people. So I don't see Lamont or Jabbar having any reason to tell anyone the truth on that side. So
I hope there are people who don't even lie. They're just like, I'm not telling you. I really hope. And I think there's some people who would do that.
This HOH, I think, will come down to Erica and Megs. I think Erica and Megs are the only people. Oh, it's gonna be messy. It's gonna be messy as fuck. I think
yes.
Megs will have the info on the pro Rizzo side. Erica will have the info on the pro Liv side. It's a question of will they share it with one another in hopes of giving one of them the HOH. I could see that happening. But other than that, if those two don't come together to see eye to eye, it could go to anyone.
Are those two still close? I know they were kind of.
Mhm.
Megs is slightly. I genuinely love that duo.
Yeah.
I want them, those two and Sarah, Throw and Nikki, those four need to just run this game. They just need to get together, get their shit together. Maybe pull in Michael just because I love Michael. But really those four need to get together, run the game, and they'll win. Like,
yeah, it's going to be a mess between who wins, what they're going to do, how do Liv and Nikki deal with having the keys. Like, there's a lot still left to unpack here. The power rankings is a big muddled mess right now. Like, I wouldn't even try to rank. Like, I think Christian's at the bottom, Preston's at the bottom, Caro's at the bottom, and then, like, I've got Trey, Megan,
Erica.
Erica at the top, and everyone in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. So it really just depends who wins this HOH. It just really does. And then that HOH ultimately decides who has the legacy key, who will then have a lot of power at 13. Like this upcoming HOH has a lot of power inadvertently. So I'm super excited to see how it plays out. I'm praying this cast takes the day off.
So far, so good. Jabbar and Preston scheduled a call for this afternoon. So, like, we'll see.
I was going to say, there's always at least a few calls on day off.
A call here and there, it's fine. I'm fine with that, but like nothing too extravagant. People.
Once we break 5 calls, that's when
we're doing too much. Like, I understand doing a call just to like feel still in the rhythm, but other than that, I'm hoping they take the day off, and then Sunday is going to be a fucking mess.
Yeah,
it's going to be a mess and a half.
Hopefully, it's less of a mess if everyone is maybe like miserably hungover, and they don't want to do anything.
Maybe. I don't know. This
Knock on wood, hope.
This cast doesn't really strike me as ones that are going to get like overtly drunk tonight. I think
Lamont's going to a party and try.
Yeah, a few will, but I don't think everyone will. So I think some people will come in locked and loaded on Sunday to get what they want. So enjoy the day off, everyone. Enjoy your Halloween Saturday and just chill. Hopefully we're not going to send you anything today for the Discord. Everyone enjoy the day off. So we'll be back. We won't be back tomorrow for tea because we shouldn't have anything to discuss. But catch us tomorrow as we break down everything that happens with Train of Thought and the noms in the Discord. So be with us then. But other than that, we're going to peace on out. So for me, for Ashley, for Bridget, for Ryan, who was here for literally 6 minutes.
6 minutes of an hour and 45-minute call.
And said 7 words.
Truly icon legend.
And it was getting mad at me for forgetting Michael, which I'm sorry, Michael.
Yeah, your card might be getting revoked, my love.
It's already been shipped, hopefully.
But we're going to see you later. Bye, everyone.